probably don't understand or realize why I'm coming to these parenting classes. I'm coming because I love you and I want nothing but the best for you. I know these past 2 years have been nothing but help for both of us, but I know things will get better. Each day I look at you and I pray to God to bring my child back. You're not the same. You're not the same. I know we all change, but your change has not been for the best. But I do know that you know God, and when you get tired and are willing to change your life, you know who to call on. Until, I'm not going to turn my back on you. I'm going to love you just as much as I did January 9, 1997, the very first day I laid my eyes on you. I want you to know that I hate everything that you're doing to yourself, but I do know that one day we'll both look back at this and laugh. You are so beautiful. I'm just not saying this because you're my child. I want you to realize how beautiful you are and how beautiful your body is, and I want you to respect it, and anyone around you needs to respect it. It's your child, cherish it. I ask that each day you pray to God and ask Him to help you be the child He wants you to be. I want your senior year to be your very best, and I know it will. Just trust in God. I love you so very much, Kennedy, and I do not want to lose you. Love, Mom. So, at this point, in a 2-year span, she realized something myself hadn't. So the first word that I come to is demoralized, having lost confidence or hope. Year 2012. I was hanging out with cousins from Fulton a lot, but that was only because they were older than me, and being that their parents were a little more careless than my mom, and seeing they had a little more freedom, and my mom telling me I need to be home by 12, not saying I didn't appreciate it or nothing, but the things I was doing, such as drinking, smoking, taking her car, things like that, it just led to me being so negligent. Denial. The action of declaring something to be untrue. 2013. And this year, I was comparing myself to other individuals who were doing the same things that I was doing, but scenarios I thought were worse than mine. I was going to school, they weren't. I had a job, they didn't. So I didn't see anything wrong in what I was doing when I was still doing the key things my mom was asking me to do. With me still attending school and doing what I thought was acceptable, in reality it was not acceptable. Going from an A to B student to a C to D student, all the while, as long as I was still in school, everything was going to be fine. Not knowing that this was only the calm before the storm. Year 2014, anger. A feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. This was the year of rebellion. I was a junior in high school. My grades went from passing to failing, from once believing I was doing fine to completely numb. At that point, the drinking and smoking and stealing just escalated, from spending $20 to $100 a day. Constant disagreements with my mom, she never coming home, lying, she didn't trust me anymore, so it felt like nothing could hurt me anymore. At this time, I was no longer working. I started stealing more. I was caught shoplifting at Walmart, and I was put on a 24-hour hold, and I was being charged with felony theft. November 1st, 2014. I had my Miller's car, and I was supposed to pick up my niece from daycare by 5 that day. It was a friend's birthday, and I just got paid. And all I can remember telling him was, we was about to turn up, because, it's his birthday. So we went to the liquor store. The liquor store opened up early, so we instantly got there, drinks, and jumped right into a nonstop. By the time 5 o'clock came, I was intoxicated. I went to go get my niece, then went to another friend's house with my kids. I remember going up, and I passed out, knowing my 4-year-old niece was at some random's house while I was passed out. I was so intoxicated, my phone had been going off, and I didn't even realize it. I had forgotten that I was supposed to take my niece to church for youth group, and the next thing I remember was someone was banging on the door. The owners woke me up telling me someone was at the door for me. When I went to the door, it was my aunt. She was yelling like always, asking where my niece was, asking why I hadn't been answering my phone. But me being so careless, I didn't care what she had to say. I told my niece to come on, gave my aunt the keys to my mom's car, and shut the door on her. Keep in mind, I had just got paid, and I thought I had left my money in the car. When I finally sobered up, I texted my mom asking her where was my money that I left in the car, and she replied that she didn't have any money. With me being in the state of mind I was in, I thought she had stolen my money, so I called the police on her, and I told them I left my money in the car, and she wasn't returning it back to me. I told them to do whatever they needed to do. Then it truly came out that there was no money, and I actually spent my entire check on liquor and drugs. November 5th, 2014, I was admitted to Royal Oak Psychiatric Hospital. I was placed there for a week. However, on the fifth day there, my mom had called and told me I wouldn't be returning home. I would be going to rehab. At this time, I felt betrayed, lied to, and livid. November 11, 2014, I checked into Pathways Rehabilitation Center for the adolescents. I was in there for 60 days. 2015, rock bottom, at the lowest possible level. This is the year that I thought everything was going to turn around. I started back at school. The relationship with my mom was getting better. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I would have to go to outpatient services to talk about our feelings and make us stronger. But even with all the good there was still bad surrounding it. It was still pressure because I was building a better me with all the old habits still hanging around, and I was just scared I would fall back into temptation. So instead, I fell back into depression. During the time I was in rehab, I was prescribed medication for my depression. While I was there, I remembered I took one, and it made me feel happy. So I thought if I took two, it would work. But then two didn't work, so I took four. And then four didn't work, so I took six. And nothing happened. So then it was time for me to go to outpatient, and I told them, and they dropped me a stage. So November 7, 2015, a year ago, I was getting ready to leave for school, and I remember thinking I couldn't do it anymore. I finally gave up. All the things I had been through, there was just no more fighting me. You keep praying and praying, asking God to make it easier. You don't want to question Him, and ask why it keeps happening to you. Only you, but I did, and I asked multiple times, what did I do to deserve this? I saw my pill bottle, and I noticed the green cap, as if it was calling my name, so I opened it, and I took 11 of them. I headed off to school, and I just kept thinking that in a few hours it'll all be over. I'll be gone. I walked to class like normally, but my mind was wondering, will I fall asleep? Will it be painful? What to expect? I just knew that I didn't want to be in pain. It happened fast. I remember thinking about it, and then my palms started sweating. I felt dizzy. I felt unsure. It was because I was scared or because the medication was kicking in. I just kept thinking, if I go to the bathroom, throw it up, it'll all be over. There was a brief moment that I blacked out, and I thought, it's time, it's happening. I ended up walking to the hospital. I remember telling myself, if I didn't get there, I would pass out, just be dead at the side of the road with no one by my side. So I got to the hospital, and I told the lady at the desk, I tried to overdose. They rushed me to the back, and I remember them asking, how many of them did you take? There were so many voices in my head asking me questions. All I could think of was closing my eyes and let whatever happened, happen. Next thing I know, I kept hearing my name. When I finally had the strength to open my eyes, I looked at this lady. She asked me, can you hear me? And I asked, yes. Who can we call? I said, my mom. She then asked more questions, but I wasn't answering anyone's questions. So I fell back asleep. I remember not being up and not fully asleep. I heard my mom crying. She was on the phone with someone saying, Kennedy tried to kill herself. Then I heard the doctor say, so far we know she's took 20 plus pills. I then heard her cry harder. The doctor told her that they were going to transport me to the St. Mary's Psychiatric Hospital for evaluation for 4 to 5 days. Going through all that made me realize that I had so much to live for. I returned back to school, but instead of going to public school, I went to alternative school. I ended up graduating early on May 2015. I walked across the stage and I accepted my diploma. August 2015, I went to Three Rivers Community College in Poplarville, Missouri for 1 semester and came back home because I was homesick. During 2016, conquer, to overcome and take control. If you can remember, I had a word that described my emotion for each year. The first year was demoralized. The second year, 2013, was denial. The third year, 2014, was anger. And the fourth year, 2015, was rock bottom. To overcome all that I've been through and finally being able to take control of my life is why 2016 has been my year to conquer. I got my job at a nursing home. I got my CNA license, and today marks 2 years and 2 days I have been sober. You may encounter many defeats, but you must have defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. Maya Angelou. If there was one thing I could tell my younger self, that my older self today, it would be to speak up. If you fail in life, you will feel like it's the end. But as long as you don't allow whatever it is you're going through to stop, I promise you, what's in store for you is worth the fight. If you feel like you cannot handle it, you need to speak up and let someone help you. It's okay to seek help. Some things are bigger than your reach. I myself have bigger things in my reach, and I'm down there 6 foot tall. So this is why I can't thank my mom enough, because she heard my cry for help without me actually crying for help. You have to speak up. Many times we are our worst enemies. If we can learn how to conquer ourselves, then we will have a much easier time overcoming obstacles. I could go on and all the people in my family that was there and helped me to get to the place where I am today. But I would only like to say a few. I would like to thank the staff at Pathways for showing me how to love and honor myself again. Mrs. Penny for sharing her story to me that was so similar to mine. Darren and his words of encouragement. And I want to give thanks to my family for all the love and support. And most of all, I want to say thank you to my biggest supporter, my mother, for the words of wisdom, for the sacrifices you made for me, the unconditional love. I know that I can't take back the nights you spent worrying or the tears you cried, but only add more smiles to our shared memories.